now we're in business. Now I can be heard. Awesome. Yeah. So I mute myself all the time. I'm just absolutely infamous for that. So what a just perfect way to start the show. This is the new platform. Well, first off, let me just apologize for being live at 1:46 in the morning. Like, that's the first abnormality we have right now. I do work a very late job, so time differentiates for me for when I do have the opportunity to go live. But for this purpose, it's not really just to have an audience tonight so much to really make this video as a one to go back and view later type video, if you will. There's a lot that has changed with the way I'm going to be pursuing all of my live streams and my podcasts and all of that, which is why I haven't really been going live as much. I've been with a few people in like regards of talking to them online on their pages or writing a few things, but I haven't actually done a lot in regards to the Mr. Oculio thing. And it wasn't like I let it slip, or there was, there was the ideas, there was things that I really wanted to put into place before I went live again, because I didn't think that I was honestly offering the best that I had in that regard. Yeah, this stuff is different. This streaming software that I've gone into, it's popular on a lot of different places, but I have found that it still lets me keep to Twitch. It lets me keep to Facebook. It lets me keep to YouTube. Now, for those that have seen the video that I just did with the tattooed historian here a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago now, maybe not even that week ago, actually, excuse me. There was a discussion that we had, and it came to like leaving Twitch and whether I would, kind of back away from that affiliate, and why I would back away. And the reason for that, more so than anything, is I don't have the ambition to be a gamer streamer, to play a lot of games. Now, I'm still going to. That's why I have Twitch. Predominantly, this will be the platform, and this will be the type of streaming that you're going to be seeing from this channel, which leads into my next topic, is the name change. Obviously, I mean, I'm not big enough to where this is even really something I think would matter, but it could. So I want to address that up front and just be very open with you and explain what's going on in this world. So the Mr. Oculio name came from an old Xbox name I had. In fact, I don't even think I'm the one that necessarily came up with that. I was given an Xbox a long time ago, and one of the gamer tags on there was Mr. Oculio, and I just kind of stuck with that ever since in any gaming thing I did. Now, of course, going into Twitch, I was playing historical games, and I still had my username, Mr. Oculio. And then I started doing these podcasts about, mid-November, December, and they have all been under that name. They've been under the Mr. Oculio thing, which is not a bad thing. That's cool. I got to see my brain grow in that respect, but it also taught me what I am really after when it comes to the digital field, and the platform that I want to use, the type of history I want to be able to, which is completely, totally almost every other stream. So it's going to be cool there. But that's where, the experience got me, was I wasn't doing what I sought after playing games. That was just something that wasn't productive to me as a person in growing, or it wasn't productive to the field that I wanted to hopefully contribute to. So it's not a loss, because I'm also not losing that, and I'm not losing the content. I'm still going to be able to stream and play those games on Twitch the same as I would doing something like this. So I still have the ability to stream to it. I just don't have the necessary drive to be wanting everybody to pay me on Twitch to play this, or donate here, or subscribe to this. It's just not what I'm looking at, and I'm not really looking to have monetary gain by this. That's not the goal from any stream that I do. And I mean, of course, donations to to preservation funds, or for donating for like a book fund, so that I'm not spending all the cash out of my pocket on books, which hasn't happened recently. Thankfully, I've been somewhat contained. But that still leads on to I'm not after your money either. That's going to be kind of a different thing about this. This is a straight up hangout, a community that we've really wanted to build and bring in a bunch of new historians or old historians or whatever. It doesn't matter if you're into the history, if you're into the Civil War, or if you're into a different war and you just want to talk. That's what this is for, and it's to have that live platform to do so and have that available to you. So the name is actually going to be the Unfiltered Historian. That is the new persona. I didn't even say persona really because that just sounds so falsified, but it's really just the energy, the traditional breaking. It's just everything is going to be different, and I don't even want to sit here and tell you I can draft up a schedule or even give you an idea of what that's going to look like, and I can't, honestly. And that's what I think is so great about it, is that this is an entirely new concept, and it's out of the norm. It's not the normal approach to history. So go with that in mind when you see all these videos, and you see how I approach different things when it comes to maybe giving a battlefield tour, for example. No history is false. Everything's obviously heavily researched. I'm going to have the documentation. I will show footnotes. All of that's not what I'm getting at. But what I'm saying is the approaches to how I delivered the history and the interpretation. And I don't even want to just say I mean we, because there's going to be so many different examples, and I think that needs to be highlighted here. I'm hoping to grow this community to give it that place to a spotlight, to highlight the different approaches, ones that might even be out there but are effective, ones that we may not look at because we're so used to a certain type of interpretation. Spotlight that, give it a home, give it a place for that very purpose. And that's what's exciting, and it's been something that I didn't know I was really passionate about. I really thought I was just more so passionate about teaching it and going to visit these places for myself. And my gosh, how selfish that is. That's not at all what I want to gain. And I'm glad that John and I had this conversation, because it has sparked something insanely exciting to me that I think is another thing I want to tackle and try to help, because it's not something I've ever really done. I've always really, and it's sad to say, but really almost selfish game when it came to the Civil War. I wanted to learn. In the back of my mind, obviously, I wanted to teach, but I never did anything about it. I kept cramming information, sometimes useless information that I already knew. I would just go over and revisit just because I was so awestruck by the battlefield. But I didn't take that and turn it into, what can I do to help the community? That gave me that passion, that gives me this enthusiasm, that gives me this drive. What can I do in turn to take that drive and help other people and give them these places that they may not get to see all the time? So that's what this new, the Unfiltered Historian. It's not because I'm going to say bad words. Of course, it's whatever. It's we talk, we have fun. It's traditional, but I'm not looking at it as like a TVMA or explicit content, anything like that. Unfiltered just means different. There's no filter to this. There's no, you can't go and search it and be like, I want to strictly follow this video because this video follows this point in history and going to go on this schedule and topic. It's not happening. It's going to be different. It's going to just flow whatever. It's going to be conversational. It's going to be a hangout, but it's also going to be a place to learn and have fun. And I think that's very important to have in this day and age. So that's my, the mushy gushy stuff I wanted to get off to start. And it's different too, because I'm also taking an approach of having more of a visual presence. I didn't have that either. I was always, more so behind the camera, trying to really focus on the audio and having that be put on the different podcasts. But I think visual conversations are important too. And with things opening up and people getting vaccinated, we have the opportunity to now visit battlefields more so than we did last year. And just continuing to get equipment to make this more efficient when we get to the field and have the best that we can offer, and really try to make something different. So that's cool too. Like I said, and I think I mentioned this earlier, that we're going to have an opportunity to bring you videos from the field instead of the games. It's going to be on the field, touring with us, whoever may be on the tour. And I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see how this channel grows and what is going to come of it. Arctic Wolf, it's good to see you on Twitch, man. I hope everything's good with you. like I said, different approach, and I hope this is something that might interest you as well. Today's July 1st, by the way. I think I mentioned that in the stream here. Now, obviously for those Gettysburg folks, July 1st is rather significant. It's the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg. Of course, it's extremely significant, and the fact that we're going to be able to bring some of that to you, specifically on July 2nd, is awesome. It's the first time I've done the Battle Anniversary live in this regard, and putting it on this. Oh no, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad to hear that he's getting better, though. That's good. So, Arctic, since I have you in here, I knew there weren't going to be many just because of the time, but I'd like to ask, I mean, sorry for first off, the lapse of content that I've created, but is this something that would be of interest to you generally? Like, is this something you could see yourself watching and engaging in and, maybe talking about? Because I think you specifically have served. So there will be a lot of, questions derived from even modern day military tactics, especially with how some of the stuff I study goes. I would like to bring that into here as well. So, of course, I'd like to hear your opinion because it is valued. That, and we're just the videos too are going to, I think, be fun and informational and definitely informal. Like I said, I wish I had Hollywood bucks to make Hollywood productions, but even then I would just probably take an iPhone out there and talk to you. There's no reason to make it crazy spectacular. Unless I'm trying to get good view sheds to the battlefield, and that's different. I haven't also decided yet exactly what places are in line to film. I know the Peach Orchard definitely is like it's bugging me that it's one that I really would like to. Otherwise, I would have to figure out where would be the most ideal location. I have a few in mind. However, I'm gonna go ahead and move us to the last little segment thing I'm gonna do here tonight. I don't even call it a segment really, because that's just weird. But I had an idea, and something I think might go well with this platform here. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, or Instagram, or one of my social medias, where I actually post a lot of what I read. I do an engaging thing, kind of a "what are you reading" type post, and I'll post a few books that I'm reading or that I'm studying at the time, and I'll have others comment on that. And I think it would be awesome if maybe we took that and brought it into here too, and maybe made pieces out of that, or conversational pieces. So trying to shift that over to the unfiltered historian aspect. And I do like doing it on my personal page because that's fun too. But I think the unfiltered history would be cool. So, I mean, that's just a thought. If you end up watching this, feel free to message me on any way you have to get a hold of me. Just, hey Ty, this is cool, I like this, or hey Ty, a video is stupid. Whatever your feedback is, please. Because I am really trying to make some type of just support and give back to this community, because it has been extremely helpful in helping me understand a word to help others understand a word. I think that's probably the greatest way I could really put all those into a formulated sentence, because there's so many things I could say, and that's the short, sweet version. Is that's the end all be all. Is I'm learning to help others learn. And the Civil War community that I have been able to cross paths with and engage with have been absolutely and tremendously supportive and helpful, and continue to do so. So, thank you. And again, feedback or any type of ideas are absolutely welcome. This is a whole new thing, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So, what are you reading? Well, given that we're on this anniversary now, I have a few things that are going to be coming up to Gettysburg with me that I think are imperative to study when it comes to the campaign. Today's July 1st. Obviously, being July 1st, there's a specific book that I really like. It's almost probably my favorite of all that have been written on the campaign when it comes to the day-to-day action. And I'm sure it's flipped, but it's Harry Fonz's Gettysburg: The First Day. That book is incredible, and it has great anecdotes to the point down to a human interest story, which I have always loved to try and throw into my tours. But it also gives you the military aspect. So if you're that military historian and want to know who was doing what and who was where, this is good. But that's why you have supplemental work too to pair with this, which I'll get into because I have another supplemental piece that I'm reading with a few of these. But this is definitely a good start for your first day. Harry Fonz's Gettysburg: The First Day. Absolutely cannot recommend it enough. If you want to know all about the first day, again, the community story and the military aspect, Vance is your guy. And I'm going to give him a shout out for the other two books he did too while I'm at it, so we just knocked him off the list. The second day, Gettysburg, July 2nd, all of those books that he writes, Culp's Hill and The Attack on Cemetery Hill, truly phenomenal, and I read them again and again and again. So those are obviously coming with, because you can just take some sticky notes and put them in a page and know what to flip to for reference, and then even go further from reference with his footnotes, which are great. Fantastic books, highly recommend. One that I have found I really enjoy, and since July 2nd, his last day fighting in India or even life, John Douglas Ashton's William Barksdale. This biography is done at a McFarland Press, has been incredible to read too, and I am honestly not finished with it yet. It has been something I have really wanted to take my time with, because at the time, I've worked in the United States Capitol before, and recently, up until just about 2 months ago is when I left. So working up there and having this Civil War passion I have, it obviously was something that was of great interest and still is of great interest. Not to mention, I live in, Central Virginia, where there's a lot of battlefields that Barksdale was prominent at. And being able to have that connection obviously would draw me to something like this, but being that I'm going to Gettysburg and going to be studying in the Peach Orchard, I mean, it goes without saying that that's something that you want to kind of look at and, go over. So Barksdale's been always an interesting study to understand the congressman to start, and then the switch to Confederate general. So John Douglas Ashton's William Barksdale, if you find it online at McFarland Press or at any visitor center, I would pick it up. Absolutely. Great book. Great guy too. I love talking to him, being able to chat with him on Facebook every now and then. So when you see this, again, thank you so much for this. It has been incredible. And like I said, I've recommended it to many people. I think it's absolutely imperative to understanding places like Fredericksburg, or understanding Gettysburg, or understanding Chancellorsville. And I haven't even gotten to the Gettysburg part. I'm still down in Fredericksburg, just really, like I said, taking my time and dissecting that. It's absolutely great. So good stuff. Definitely coming with, and definitely going to be used on the field when I can for notes, because it's going to be a wonderful resource. Sickles at Gettysburg. I'm sure many of you have seen and read and love it. I can't get enough either. Again, the Hazel Grove connection, Chancellorsville, and also with Sickles, Gettysburg, Peach Orchard. There's a trend here I'm kind of pertaining to. Maybe I have an interest that lies in the wheat field and Peach Orchard area. Just maybe. Because the next book is definitely just the Peach Orchard at Gettysburg. So those are my books that I've been reading for this weekend, at least, just for the production. But for for general understanding, I am reading about Five Forks, so I have some Petersburg stuff behind me here. A lot of this is just kind of spread out, but I know I have the top 3 layers there. They're going to be Petersburg Works. The rest of them down Petersburg Works as well, but I think the top 3 are the Five Forks. So once I know a little more about Five Forks, I'll dive into that and do a whole thing about that with you guys, but don't know enough yet to be able to do that. And Petersburg is going to be a topic to really try to talk about, because it's not one that generally gets a lot of attention. Obviously, places like Gettysburg were July 1st. Most people are counting down this day, first day of June. Nobody's counting down the first day of July up to the July 30th explosion of the crater. Unless you really know Petersburg, I mean, but they're doing it for Gettysburg, so it shows you this can get very overshadowed, especially by what else is happening throughout the war. Well, it is 2:06. I do have to have one more day at work before we can get out and really hit the field and start understanding what's going on in July of 1863. Tomorrow night, I don't have a definitive time. I'm hoping it's not the lateness as it is today, but I'd like to do at least a 30-minute what I call, and what we're going to do is segments on called pre-games before we go, or like a big, one little 30-minute talk for a few minutes, and then the next day we hit the ground in Gettysburg or whatever battlefield we'll be at. So that's going to be the end all be all of tomorrow. I just want to do another little recap and say hi to you guys. If you're watching this later this morning or later today, whatever time you're watching it, thank you for tuning in. Sorry for losing cohesion. It's 2:07 in the morning. I've worked in pretty much a 14-hour shift, so I'm beat. But it's been awesome, and I'm real excited that this is formulating. This is going to be a new thing, and I'm hoping the Unfiltered Historian is something that many of you can get down with and just be cool. We can have this awesome thing, and I hope to really help that out of everything, just give these soldiers their due. Give their story some credence. Keep their stories alive. These men died on fields and are buried in cemeteries far away from their homes, and their stories matter. I appreciate every single one of you to come in here and do this and take the time to go to these battlefields. Definitely look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow if you decide to tune in. I hope the platform is cool to y'all, and don't worry, we'll still do games, but I think something good's coming out of this.